Greetings.
Yeah, man, greetings.
Yes, brother.
Yes, black.
So what the item name? So we start to the right. What the item name?
John.
John, yeah?
Yeah, and I'm Tony.
Yeah.
Mattis.
Mattis, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the original Mosaidians.
Yes,
Yeah. So you want to start with John, tell us a bit about Mos. You're born in Mosai, John?
Yeah, a place called Cecil Street.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us
Poshest place in Manchester.
Yeah.
Used to be.
Where is that?
Cecil Street. It's where's Cecil Street now? Where would you say?
Rushall.
Rushall, yeah. But it was Moss Side at one point.
Used
Oh,
to
no,
be.
it's Moss Side. It's not Rushall, it's Moss Side. Yes, Moss Side. Yeah.
Used to be.
No, it's still
Still
Moss
is.
Side. Yeah, man. Still
Yeah.
Moss Side, Cecil Street. Yeah, man, Moss Side. Denmark Road.
That's
It
not
runs.
Mos.
It runs off Denmark Road.
But you know, Mos Side is
So-
just over there now. You know that.
Yeah, but Denmark Road is Moss Side.
And this is
Definitely.
so. This is now Wally Range. We're in now. You know.
Yeah, the new boundary,
I
yeah.
can't believe.
Yes, man. You're not in. You're in Wally Range. Okay, tell him that. It's not that joke. It's not that.
It's not what it rains. Fatherfield.
When the bus people was here,
Yeah.
it was Moss
It's
Side.
Moss Side.
When the bus people
Yeah.
lit down
Yeah.
and the housing put up, it turned to Wally Range. It's Wally Range all around now.
They
So
changed
the
it.
postcode changed or something.
Yeah, serious.
Yeah.
So it's not.
You get what I mean?
Because this, where we are now, right, this was where Prince's Road bus stop used to be.
That's it.
And they've knocked it down, but
It
like the
turned
brother
housing
said,
now.
they've changed it now, the postcode, and they've named it Wally Range, but it's actually Moss Side. Because where we're standing now, this was Prince's Road, bus depot, and this is Bow Street that we're on. And that bus depot was built 1923. Yeah,
1923.
1923. And my father used to work on the buses. Yeah.
So John, yeah, tell us. So tell us a bit more about Mos Side, John, from back in the great days.
They weren't great days for me.
Yeah.
I usually got mucked around Moss Side after I robbed the bank. It was a soft target.
Yeah, basically after you robbed the bank.
Yeah, you know, over the counter.
Yeah, over the counter.
Nothing. Mad days, mad days.
Yeah. So,
I read the Bible in prison when I got saved.
brother, man, I want to know, because I have a different conversation. We have a conversation. Yes.
Yeah, so the last prison sentence I did was 30 odd years ago, and that's where I read the Bible. And I realised a few home truths,
Yeah.
but it wasn't what I thought it was. So it was a total revelation to me that Jesus Christ came to save sinners. He didn't come for the goody two-shoes or the religious. He came for the sinners, and that's me. So I trusted the Lord and I got saved.
Yeah.
Best thing that ever happened in my life.
Yeah.
Still is. It's good, man.
So who was the John before the
John
church?
before, not a very nice person, robbing, thieving, out every day, drugs, alcohol, just madness, just total madness. So, but God saved me by His grace. I'm a different John.
But what was it like back in the day for, like, you know, around there, like between the black and like yourself and of different culture?
I didn't want to come back and live in Moss Side, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I didn't know, because I used to party around here, and it was different when you're partying from when you live here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but now that I've lived here for 20 odd years, come back here, I'll love it. I'd never leave it.
Yeah.
This is my home, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed here.
Yeah. Tony, what you are telling now?
Yeah, well, I really want to talk about this bus depot that was built in 1923. And Alton that runs a barbershop here, he wanted to know a little bit about the Windrush time, you know?
Yeah.
And I'd have to say that the actual bus depot, I believe some of the Jamaicans and Barbadians that came to England, they actually worked in the bus depot during the Windrush time, you know? And they were probably the first set of, black men to work on the buses, drive them. A lot of them was conductors then, as well. you know.
So was you born in Mossad too then?
Yeah, I was born in Mossad. I was born in 1958.
And have Jamaican parents.
Jamaican father and Irish mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, my parents, they came to England in 1954, you know, and they actually met in a place called Dunlop's. That's gone now. That's in, you know, the town centre.
Yeah.
That's where they met. So they would have met like around, what, 1955? No, actually just before then, 54, 1955.
So what was it like back in the
Yeah.
days for you around there?
Yeah, well, growing up, in them days, yeah, it was tough because I'm like, when my father came to England, the first place he got to live was a one room, you know. He got a one room, so
It was
he had
different
no,
then.
you know, she had no hot water. You had to, you know, boil the water, you know, so you could bathe, you know. Yeah.
So what was some of your early experience in Mossad, like with the whole, you know, the Jamaican English side? You was born after into the British side
Yeah.
of it, yeah, and then experienced the Jamaican
Okay,
side.
yeah. Well, growing up, right, you know, well, I grew up in Russell Street. That's just round the corner here. That's just across Prince's Road. And we had a lodger at the time, and he had a wife called Polly, and she lived in, you know, actually in our house. So she used to bake cakes, and I grew up, you know, eating Jamaican food. You know, my old man used to make fritters
Yeah.
and that. So, you know, so we used to go out in the backyard and play and run back in, you know, and yam the fritters, man.
So,
Yeah.
so did you experience any form of like back in the days, any
So,
form of
like
race?
racism
Yeah,
and that.
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. For
Yeah.
example, my mother, right? She was living in a one room, you know, with my dad when my sister was born. That's my first sister was born. Teresa, you know, her name was, and she was born in 1955. So then my dad went, you know, then my mum went on and had another 2 children, which was my other sister and me. And at that point, she needed, you know, space, you know, so she needed a house. So my grandparents, yeah, so,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
good.
so my grandparents now,
Okay.
yeah, so my grandparents now gave my mother and my father the money so they could purchase a house. And the house that we purchased was on a street called Russell Street, that's just
Okay.
around the corner, and it was £750.
750.
£50, and that was
Wow.
that would have been about 1958.
1958. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is though, Blacks,
Yeah.
my mum couldn't purchase that house and go with my father. She had to go and purchase it on her own. She had to go to the real estate then by herself. She couldn't go with me dad. He had to keep out the way.
Because your dad was black.
Because my dad was black, so he had to keep out the way. So what happens is that when we moved in the house now,
Yeah.
2 seconds, you know, no time at all now, the neighbors spot my father, innit?
Yeah.
And they realize that we broke this barrier, this colour barrier thing where, you know, we're not supposed to be, on that street,
Yeah.
you know, living on that street. So some of the women used to stand outside their house, and every time my mum say pass by with the pram, with like me or say
Yeah.
my younger brother in the pram, they would shout things like you couldn't get anybody better than a nigger to marry, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, racist comments, you know,
Yeah.
like that, you know.
Yeah.
But she said they'd only say it when she passes them, you know,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
They
Wow.
wouldn't come up to her face and say it, you know.
Must have been
So-
hard for her at them
Yeah,
time.
it was very hard, you know. Well, you see, my mother told me that the neighbors were jealous because my father was working at this bus depot during that time, and we used to, you know, he used to dress us, you know, good, you know, smart.
Yeah.
So she said that they were jealous, the
Yeah.
neighbors.
Yeah.
So that's what we experienced.
Yeah.
And it was hard, Blacks, because
Yeah.
in them days, you know, to keep warm, you have to burn what they call a coal fire.
Yeah.
So you had to go to the shop and get, you know, and buy a bag of coal. you know, and burn that to keep warm.
Yeah, so Martis, tell me a bit more about your thing. Where you born in Mossad?
Yes, well, I'm originally from born in Stretford, lived in Moss Side. Originally, I lived on Clement Road at the top, beside Alexander Park.
Yeah.
We had a room up there, which I've got 3 sisters.
Yeah.
3 sisters and me.
And where's your family from?
My family's from Jamaica, Kingston.
So what year did they come to the UK?
They came here, I was born in 62.
62, okay.
So they must have come here in about 59, 60.
Yeah, them times.
And they had me over here.
Yeah.
We had a house over there on Clement Road, which was a room that we had, and that we shared with my mum's sister, which was my auntie. And my mum's aunties, my uncle, they were here for a short period of time. Then, after a while, my uncle took off to America, and then we moved over to Broadfield Road.
Okay.
Over there on Broadfield Road, and that's my experience. So my schooling. The schooling was Green A's, you know, Green A's school off Great Western Street there. And that was my primary school, and my high school was Juicy High. So,
so what was it like for you, like with the racism back in the day?
Racism was about, but I didn't know it as racism. I just thought people were being unkind and unfriendly. I mean, my mother and my father didn't bring me up to kind of like, you know, to confront it. They just said, get on with it, work hard, do your schoolwork, do what you have to do. Show them that you're better than that, you know what I mean? So sometimes trouble would find me, sometimes trouble wouldn't find me. But at the end of the day, I had my parents' voice in my head to do the right thing, go to school, find a job, you know, settle down, you know, do the right thing. My life's been, I'd say, okay, racism wise, you know what I mean?
So we heard about like the Teddy Boys and them back in the day. Had you had them bad experience with them too?
Well, the Teddy Boys were around in the late 50s. That was the year that I was born. The Teddy Boys. And you see the Teddy Boys now, they were actually operating the Moss Side of Teddy Boys, because I made stories where they used to be hanging out, you know, where the West Indian Centre is, across the street from there. That's where they used to hang out. And also, the year I was born, the racism in this country that year was terrible, because in Notting Hill there was actually riots. Not only in Notting Hill, there was riots in Nottingham itself. That particular year, 1958, you know. And again, as we're talking about racism, me and my brother, we went to school. I must, you know, mention this. Me and my brother went to a school called Wilburn Junior School, and we used to walk around the back of the bus depot here. There was a big, you know, entry. We used to walk down there, and when me and my brother would come home at lunchtime, actually some boys from the actual school, you know, Bishop Bilbo, used to come to the fence, and they used to say to me and my brother, Chinese, Japanese, don't forget to wash your leaves, and just pure spit. Pure spit. So what we did, we had to go round and walk down a road called Parkside Road. That's on the other side. Just to avoid them, because there was too many of them, you see. But me and my brother, we were ready for, you know, take them on. But they were bigger than us, because we would have been about, when my brother would have been about 9, I was about 10. And these boys were probably getting ready to leave primary school and go into high school. So they were definitely bigger, and there was a lot of them. You're talking about maybe all 10 of them used to come to the fence. So we'd have to go around, because you see, when I was younger, me and my brother, we did have some Chinese features, being that my father is a black man, but he's mixed with Chinese. You know, he's got a mixed background. Chinese and even some Scotch. Predominantly his features was Chinese and, you know, African, you know, well, black, you know. So I always remember that, and that was about 1968. I was 10.
So John, have you always been close with the Jamaican background, like with the culture? Have you always had friends in the Jamaican community, like from you was growing up, since you was born in Mossad, or did you find it different then?
So I was growing up, yeah, because I went to a school called St George's in Mully Range. So a lot of my friends were from my side. So yeah.
Yeah, no, St. George's.
Yeah.
Yeah, St. George's, yeah. That was on Brantingham Road.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. St. George's.
I learned to integrate.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there's always been a lot of racism around back in the 60s. A dreadful time.
So that time in I heard that there was a riot in the 80s. Was you involved? Was you hear about them time, Mattis?
I was about, and I was on the street at the time, but I didn't get myself involved.
Yeah.
My parents had kind of like control over me, so when night time came, I tried to find myself home and try not to be involved in any of that.
Could you remember any of it, like on your way out, like what you seen or anything?
Well, I can see like on the top road, like Clement Road, they were coming down and they were gathering late at night. Shops were getting smashed, cars were getting broken into. People were getting harassed. If anybody that wasn't from the area would get harassed, and it was a difficult time. But we've come through that.
And the police and Moss Side Police Station was set alight.
Well, yes, I don't know about that, but I do now.
That's the two of them. So did it got that bad? Yeah.
Yeah, but I wasn't here. I was living in New York at the time myself.
But
I watched it on the news. In New York, actually, 1981, July. Yeah.
So it was that bad?
Yes, yeah, man, it was bad, man. I believe a lot of people came down from Liverpool, I believe, and teamed up with Manchester
and the surrounding
people
areas.
in Manchester, both black and white,
teamed up
against the system, against motherland.
Yes, the police.
The police with their harassment that was going on at the time. Unemployment was very bad.
What did you think caused the riot them times in Moss Side?
But there was a lot of unemployment, no opportunities, but I think it was more to do with the actual harassment, of young black teenagers. They were constantly getting harassed, and I have to mention that particular year, just 2 years before Margaret Thatcher, became the Prime Minister. Then, and the police seemed to have this thing, they're going around saying now we have this power to stop and search, sus,
the SUS law.
Yeah.
So it affected the
Which
whole
was
house.
probably came into effect before the riots, but we're using that as well,
So what was happening? Sorry to cut you off. What was happening? You were stopping and searching you. If you were found with any drugs, knives, or anything like that, or they pin a crime on you, so it'd go on your record. So you wouldn't be able to get a job, because the last thing on the application form would be, have you got a criminal record? Since then things have changed, you know what I mean? So by then, most of the area used to have a criminal record of some sort, you know what I mean? Violent conduct. You wasn't violent, you were just speaking up for yourself. Like, a weapon on you, you know what I mean? It could be anything from a brolly, you know what I mean? Threatening behaviour, you've raised your voice. So you'd get like condemned, to court, bumped, you couldn't defend yourself, so you took it, thought it was nothing, tried to get a job, and you struggled to get a job. You didn't understand what they were doing at the time. They're stopping you from entering the community and working and providing for your family and getting out of whatever's in the area. But the area was a good area. The area was mainly Irish back in the day, predominantly Irish. Then the blacks were there with them as well. And then over time, Asians came in, and then now it's all changed.
So what about the Africans? Or was the Africans not about?
Not to my knowledge. No, I didn't know many Africans.
Actually, the Africans, they were coming into England, during the as early as late 30s, but particularly the 40s.
Yeah, that's what I heard. They were
during the
one
war.
of the first.
During the war, and I know people that have told me that where they used to gather and hang out was actually a place called All Saints. You know, that's where Oxford Road is.
Okay.
You know, there's a park there, isn't there, Oxford? I don't know, maybe there's a park right there, All Saints. And then you've got the Grove and the Picture House.
Whitworth, is it Whitworth Park?
Yeah, Whitworth Park.
Whitworth Park.
No, sorry, not Whitworth Park.
It's
It's a park on Oxford Road, yeah, where they sell the fruit outside. That's across from
Johnny Roadhouse.
yeah, and the picture house called the Groveland Picture House.
Yeah.
That's across the street. So in the 40s, I made stories that some of them opened restaurants and ran clubs in the 40s. Yeah.
So did you know about any black businesses around there back in the days, what businesses could you remember back in the days? Like, as I heard Princess Road and that, all of them place, Bullring, there was loads of black businesses over. Can you remember any of that?
Right. Well, rather boring, no, because I never knew of any businesses around there. That was you know, where the Crescents was. You know, you had the Crescents that were built, like William Kent, Robert Adam, and John Nash, and that. But there was black businesses like in Moss Side, Prince's Road.
Yeah, that's what I
There was
said.
a few around, not many though, but there was a few. You
There
know.
was some on Moss
Mostly
Lane
shops,
East.
innit?
There was some on Moss Lane East.
Yeah.
Some on Clement Road.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah,
Princess Road.
definitely Prince's Road. Yeah.
Eventually.
And they're mostly selling like Caribbean food, weren't they,
Caribbean
really,
food,
like yam and
breads,
that, you know.
yams.
And then obviously at the barber shops, always have been here.
Barbershop.
So when you was growing up, was there not a specific black-owned shop where like where you could get your Caribbean food and that, like Dexter is
Well, Alvino's was there, wasn't it? For a time?
Alvino's was like a
Anymore, I
food
can't
shop,
think
like,
of.
yeah, patty shop and stuff, fast food.
Well, over the years, a couple sprung up, you know, but they didn't really stay long.
No,
They disappeared.
disappeared.
Yeah, they disappeared around Prince's Road, weren't they?
Because you used to have the precinct over there, and there was all in. Tend to be in there, all the
That's
foods
right,
and everything
yeah.
you wanted, and once that closed down, everything
Yeah.
tend to disappear. After that, to my knowledge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't know where they went, don't know what happened, don't know whether they're getting funding
Yeah.
or were allowed to take out bank loans, but things have like changed.
Well, but I'm going back to what you're saying about like businesses. There was clubs, obviously, you know, like we know about the Reno and the Nile Club.
Reno,
There was a club. There was a gambling place called a Capital that was across the street from the Nile. You know, from the Nile and the Reno. There was a car showroom there, and it was on top of that. You know, a lot of men used to go there and gamble, even in the daytime.
So was
You'd
those
see them
places
outside.
was those places black owned or just I just where black people hang out?
Yeah, because you used to have like set up a black man on a door, you know, when you go in, but it wasn't black owned. The actual building, no.
Okay,
No.
okay.
They would probably rent it out and lease
Yes,
it. Yeah,
yes,
lease it out.
Yeah.
So you notice any difference now from them times till now? What do you think is now better in Moss Side, or would you say back in the day was better? Which one? What's your experience, John?
I love the community here in Moss Side. There's a real warmth here,
Yeah.
and people look out for each other. So yeah, and it has changed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still stuff but you know, there's good changes.
Yeah.
But an old lady said to me, I hope they never gentrify Moss Side. And I thought that was good.
That's coming.
That's the danger, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
because sometimes people don't get it. You know, they just stay out the way and they keep themselves to themselves, but they don't get the community part of it,
Yeah.
which is a shame. You know, because it's a beautiful community. So.
Yeah, it is, and as you can see what's going on now, like on Prince's Road now, most of the restaurants is run by Sudanese and Ethiopians, Eritreans, Somalians, and from what I see, they all get along and, you know, with each other.
Which is good, yeah.
Being that as well, that they all come from the continent. And that's good to see, you know. Because you know, working in the community myself as a window cleaner, and I get along with all of them. You know, I think they're really great.
Yeah. So what for you? Can you say between now and then? Do you think it was better now and then, or do you think it's better now?
There's more opportunity, what you say?
There's more
There's more
opportunities
opportunities
now
yeah.
than there was before.
Like the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah,
and,
things have like progressed a lot more, and there's opportunities. People being made aware of what's available to them. There's internets, there's phones. There's, if you don't look for it, you won't find it. You know what I mean? It's not always going to come through the television. The community is good. And it's nice, but I don't think they're as tight as there was before. Like, say I know you, I know your son, I know your mother, I know your granddad, you know what I mean? If I saw your son on the road, I could say, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I know the whole of your generation, you know the whole of my generation. And everything's slightly changed. I look at someone that's in their 30s or 20s and they wouldn't know me. Back in the day, I'd know you, you'd know me, you know my parents, you could speak to me, there was no unfriendliness, there was no vibe, who are you, what you doing here, you know, we're all from the same community.
But where do you think that change is coming? Do you think it's after like the British born, they start having kids, or do you think it's their kids' kids? Where do you think it's changed?
I think it's my kids' kids,
Yeah.
because they're growing up and they're growing up in an environment and they're stepping out of the community, coming back into the community, and they've not got a sense or an idea of who they are, where they're from.
True that.
So therefore, we get all this confusion, who are you, what you doing here? Like, I'm not, it's not colour of the skin that makes you a Moss Sider. This is where you lived and you breathed and you ate, you slept, you went to the clubs, went to the shabeens. Your colour wasn't a problem. You know, you just did it. I saw you. I said, oh, you doing, mate? The colour didn't come into my head. If I knew you, I knew you. So things have changed a little bit. You know, Moss Side to me is a nice place. I come, I eat, I see my friends, I let on, and then I go about my business, my day-to-day business. You know, and I try my best. You see, Carnival comes, the young people are around. They don't remember the old days, the 70s, the 80s. Like, we knew all each other. There was no trouble. There was no kind of arguments. There was nothing. Everyone just enjoyed themselves on the roads. Did what they wanted to do. You know, if I knew you and I didn't know you and I got introduced to you, I'd know you for life. Once she was introduced, you know what I mean?
It's true.
What was the carnival like for you back in the days growing up?
Well, it was. I can tell you, it was a woman called Mrs. Wallace, and she used to run a little troupe, and she got me involved in the troupe, my family, and that's how I started. And I knew it. Went in there, did the bands, did the dancing, go to the park, walk the street. It was a massive event. I think it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday back then. It was 3 days.
3 days.
3 days back in the day, but now I think it's two. But it's a bit.
So a person like you would be the right person to ask. Like back in the days, what was it like? What with the the gathering after the carnival? And was there a gathering after?
Well, there was a gathering, and people would go to clubs and whatever was going on in the area, and there was a sense of community. There was no kind of like fear of being like robbed. Everyone there to enjoy themselves, drink, have a nice time, listen to a bit of street music, and go wherever they wanted to be. But things have changed a little bit more now. It's a bit intense. I can honestly say I don't understand the youth today that they can come out and cause trouble, and when they're having a great time, but it's people from different areas, not. If I saw you on the street, I'd let on, and I see you again, I'd say hi. They don't. You stay over there, I stay over here. Gets to about 12 o'clock, still looking at me. What you're looking at? Next thing you know, party's finished. So there's like a mentality that I don't know nothing about. It's beyond me. I can't explain that.
Because as children growing up here, for me, growing up in the 60s and late 60s and even mid 60s, onwards from 70s. There were so much things that we did as children, blacks. We'd go to the park, we'd get chased by the park keepers. That was fun. We'd go out parading. We'd be constantly playing like cricket and football in the park, and you don't see that now. You go down the park now, you don't see so many football games going on at the same time.
There wasn't no sense of gangs. Back in the day, there was a sense of like, I knew you knew. If there was like 10 of us there, that wasn't a gang, that was my friends. You know what I mean? Now, you see 10 people together, that's a gang, you know what I mean? You know, so
the gang culture.
Gang culture's come along, replace all the friendships. You see a lot of people, you'll cross the road, you know, not to kind of like get involved in it. You know, so things have
That's
changed.
how they identify now. They're with each other.
Well,
it's a gang. Yo, what's up? Yo, man. And
if there was a community of lads and like, you know, there was 5 of us here and 10 of us here, we'd come together. I know you, I'd speak to you, I'd speak to this, I'd speak to that. But these days, it's like a big standoff. And if you look at me too long, there's only going to be trouble. You know, so I don't understand that kind of mentality. I think things have gone
what
wrong.
he's saying, you know.
Things have gone wrong there. It's not for me to
You know
work
what?
out.
It's true what he's saying, because even the carnival now, when you go to the carnivals, a lot of people end up having a good time, but there's an atmosphere, the energy is not the same,
it's
is it?
not the same
as it
at all.
was when we knew the carnival.
What was it like for you to want to going back when coming up?
Well, growing up in the carnival, like you said, well, first of all, you used to go in the park and you never even got searched. You know what I mean?
Straight in,
you go
straight
straight
out.
in and spend the whole day in there, you know?
But that's what the culture's brought.
Yeah.
It's brought in.
You
My
know.
safety is more important than
Yeah.
searching somebody 24/7. But what tends to happen is they get upset about being searched, but at the same time, if something happens to their son or daughter, they're saying, why didn't they get searched? Why wasn't the police there? So it's a catch-22. What do you do? So the council wants to look after the community, so therefore they're calling the police to police the area, you know, and then we say at the same time, well, why is there so many police? You know, because there might be trouble.
There might be trouble, because trouble has gone on over the
Trouble
years.
has gone on
Gangs
over the years.
Killings and everything.
Killings.
Yeah.
No one wants to lose a son or daughter.
So we do understand that, but we just expected the change, you know, how it is now to when it was then.
Because
like
at the end of the
so
day,
different.
the council makes the policies and the council runs it, and we just apply to it. We come together, and it's up to us, like the elders. But the elders are like far and few between. We're here, but we're not together as we used to be.
It's true.
So, you know, this is a good question I think I could ask you guys, because with the experience that you guys growing up in the community, could you tell us what where do you think the next generation after you guys gone wrong, where, like you said, 10 people standing up used to be 10 friends, then after that it become a gang? When did you think change, or what do you think changed that? Do you think it's after the riot? Do you think everything changes after that? Or do you think...
It's the culture. The culture of like, I want everything now. I'm not prepared to work. I'm not prepared to get an education. Not to get, you know, there's policies in place. Government dictates how we think. We think we're thinking freely, but you're not. Policies are in place to guide you this way, guide you that way. You know. So kids are coming out with internet and cars and the best clothes. You know, it was good enough for me to have clean clothes on back in the day. Now, if it's not designer label, Gucci, you know, Prada, you know, everyone's looking you up and down as if, where have you come from? You know, and things have changed for the worse that way. So their mentality is somewhere else. It's not with the community. It's about, like, let's get this for this, let's get that. Education's taken a back step, you know, and people are not kind of like, the elders are not kind of like all together. The community is here, but it's kind of like disjointed.
Yeah, but if you think it's just our community that's affected by this, basically?
Well, I've been into other areas, like in Manchester, and they have a sense of kind of like, I've gone to deliver beer, they have a sense of community. You go to their kind of like places, and everything's going on. They have meetings, they have this, they have that. You understand how the system works. You know, one person can do one thing, but many will make change for the community. Not the council make it for them. You know, so
the people, community.
the people of the community. So we need to come together a little bit more.
But you reckon we're lacking leaders?
Very much so. It takes like 1 to stand up, 2 to stand up, 10 to stand up, and coming together as a community to take a direction where the kids will see what's happening how it's happening, why it's happening, and then want to ask us why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And they'll realise, oh, change only comes because I know what change is about,
Yeah.
and we're doing it for their children,
This is
children and children.
True that.
So things tend to go stagnant for a while before like trouble comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where we need to go, what we need to do, you know what I mean? Like you say, we need people to kind of like, more people to stand up and take responsibility for their community, for their people, black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. We're just a community of people that want the best for our community.
But like I said, you've been in other community and you've seen them take charges of their situation, like I said. So it's most likely our community, which is the Caribbean community, I say, which is not really progressing on that. Well, I'm not sure if it's the right word, but yeah.
We kind of, how can you say, we kind of like disassemble, disorientate people just getting on with their lives.
Yeah.
People are old enough to just kind of like, I don't need that stress. I don't want to be in that because someone's going to threaten me, someone's going to do this to me, someone's going to do that to me. Everyone wants to mind their own business, you know what I mean? They don't have a sense of like, I'm more than this, you know what I mean? If change is going to come around, it starts with one person putting others before himself and going out there and trying to make change. It just takes one person. That one person has to have an idea, an ideal of what he wants to change, what he wants to do better for the community, and then go ahead with it. I might see it and I might think, well, I'm old enough to stand by that man and take that stance, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's our problem. We can't
come together,
innit?
you know, we just can't come together. Don't know what it is, how we solve it, but it just takes one person with an idea. It doesn't have to be an educated man, it just takes a man or woman or anyone to stand up for the community and go forward. We can't go backwards, we can only live going forwards. So therefore change can only happen from this day forward.
I think the best thing when we should have we should have a leader, appoint a leader, because my thing is I can't see how there's so many Jamaicans living in the Manchester area, but yet still you haven't got like a Jamaican embassy. You haven't got like any form of person that you could go and see if you need something. You know what I'm trying to say to you? If you're struggling with like immigration issues, all of this.
Guidance.
And, like a guidance. And every community's got that, you know? Somewhere where you could go. And when you look, I'm saying like, I don't think, obviously there's other Caribbean, so everyone can do their own thing, but I'm Jamaican, so I'm just talking, you know what I mean, what I don't see in my community, in the Jamaican community. I don't see a lot of that kind of aspect for people go forward and trying to be that leader who somebody could come up to and say, yeah, this is the person and we're gonna make him the leader or she the leader, and then that person even lived by or stood by their position. You understand? It's not about the money or how much you're getting paid, but like I said, it's just being there for guidance, because there's a lot of people struggling, you know, immigration situation, just little stuff, getting a job, filling out application, and them genuinely not have people for go to. Every other culture have their places where they can go and people help them. And we haven't got any of that. And I think even a part of Westwood Street should probably use for that. You know, things like that, a little office where people could go and someone contact people, you know, and they said, okay, every Wednesday or every Friday, 2 or 3 days a week, you know what time this person is there. So you go there. And then if in the future you have any problems, this is the person who's getting appointed to go and speak with the police or speak with the council, because 50 voice is just noise. You understand me? You get me? When you come up person speaking with knowledge, then obviously you've got to be heard. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, as you're mentioning that about Jamaicans that are here and they need documentation and they're not getting help from anybody, and There was a brother, you know, that was in Manchester. He used to work in a lawyer's office on Stockport Road called Sam.
I heard
He's
about
passed
him.
away, yeah.
Yeah. I heard he helped a lot of people.
He helped a lot of people.
Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
him as well.
Yeah,
He's a good
yeah.
brother, you know.
Yeah.
And he passed away
Yeah,
again some years back.
Yeah.
Sam. But like you said, since then, I don't know of
This
any.
is what I'm saying.
I don't know of any, you know.
You get me?
Well, there's intelligent people within the community, educated
Very,
people
yeah.
within the community, and also outside the community
Yeah.
that can come in. But
Yeah.
what you need to start is something to bring them people that are
Organised.
qualified
Yeah.
and organise something.
Yeah.
It doesn't always take the most intelligent. It just takes
No.
a strong-minded person
Yeah.
to get these
Yeah.
people in.
Yeah.
Things are available to us
Yeah.
to start things. You know what I mean?
You know what?
Or
It's all right
funding
because-
and stuff like that.
And there's so many programs in it that we could set up to help the community.
Yes.
Really, even the elderly. You should have a place where
Even that, you know
the
what I mean?
elderly, like Caribbean, you know,
Yeah, because
elderly men and women. You should have a place where.
just little
You know.
things, even little trips in the week, like I said, 2 times a week, 3
Sure.
times for the Caribbean elderly, you know, someone taking them place,
Yeah.
showing them stuff
Yeah.
that they know. Some of them are being in care home, they don't really get their own food.
Absolutely,
Certainly, you know what I mean, yeah? So even
Yeah.
cook food 3 times
Yeah.
a week, we can go get them and let them get them one.
Because some of them are in the
you know?
homes, aren't they? And they're not
Yes,
coming out.
They're not coming out, you know. So
Because I know a woman, and I often sometimes cook her food and bring it
Mhm,
to
yeah.
her, and I'm not the only one that does that.
No, but
Others
that's good.
do that, and when I do it, it makes me feel good, and I also
You should
it makes
do.
me feel then that wait, if I'm doing this and other people are doing this, look how many things we could be doing in the community.
Exactly.
So I'm listening to all that you're saying, you know, blacks, and you're 100% right, you know. So many things, you know, you
Yeah,
could set
yeah,
up, you know,
yeah,
events
yeah.
for the young and the elderly.
Yeah.
You know.
But even kids going through, you know, young kids, I know they've got places like, you know,
Yeah.
Hideaway and that where people have the kids and, you know what I mean, help them out and that. But I'm saying like, for us who, with the culture and everything, you've got kids who come here and they fall off rail, you know what I'm saying to you, yeah? So we who the Jamaican know the culture a certain way, we need to teach them and let them know and understand, set principles,
You know.
set boundaries, you get me, yeah? That they can follow, you know, and like I said, just get them in apprenticeship, things
Yes,
like that, because
yes.
some people think that sometimes it's all about university
Yeah.
No,
and all
no,
about
it's
that.
not.
It's not always about that, because not everyone is cut out for school. I made a conscious decision when I was 15 that I don't want to go back to school, yeah? And to me,
Yeah.
it was the right decision for me, you understand?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
so it's just one of them.
Yeah.
But it depends on the person, you know, not saying
Yeah.
people not supposed. But if you can get your child in apprenticeship from an early age, then they're going straight to earning money, you know, which is what it's all about. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And come away from the
That's
street.
Yes.
Hi,
Yeah.
my name is Jay, and you make a valid point when you say, you know, as a community, you know, we need some kind of representative, you know.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to take a lot of money. You can start with just a one-room office,
Yes.
a drop-in surgery.
Yes.
You know, and just reach out to the community, because you know, like somebody made a comment, like there's so many professional people within our community who have the skill and the knowledge. Just, you know, reach out to them and you know, and encourage them to kind of volunteer, you know, if it's even half an hour a day and or 1 day a week, and you know, and do flyers,
Yes.
you know, and
Promote
you know,
it,
distribute it to the community, drop it through people's door and let them know what is happening, you know. That's one way of pulling people in, you know. So you know, simple things like that, you know.
You see, you call it like networking.
Yeah, networking, and you know, you
And like the
get
gentleman,
amazed.
and like him said before,
Amazed.
once you